Welcome to the Muscles and Mindset Revolution, the podcast for high achieving women who are done burning out in the name of discipline and ready to build strength, self-trust, and calm consistency for life. I'm your host, Ann Jones, certified life coach and mentor, personal trainer, and mindset expert. After 15 plus years in the fitness industry, I know the real key to lasting change isn't just what you do, it's how you think. If you're ready to shift your mindset, build a lifestyle you love, and feel confident AF, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, friend. I want to start with something that came up on a client call a couple Fridays ago. So I asked this client, I was on a one-on-one call with a client. I asked her a question that I ask frequently. So we're talking about a situation and basically to begin, what's the desired outcome? Like if you go to any ideal outcome, what is it? And her answer wasn't about what she wanted or how she wanted to feel. It wasn't about how she wanted to show up. It wasn't about the kind of life she wanted to build. She said, I just want people to perceive me a specific way. And I do not judge her for that because I've had the same thought. And most women I work with have said a similar thing, right? We want our partner to just finally do this differently or have a different political opinion. We want our mother-in-law to soften and stop doing this thing they do with our kids. We want our parents to change their views or this habit after decades of being exactly who they are. We want someone else to do something differently or see us differently so we can finally exhale. And I want to share the thing that gave me more freedom than almost anything I've learned in my adult life. You cannot control how other people think. You cannot control how they feel. You cannot control what they do. You cannot control how they interpret you or how they perceive you. You can only clean up your side of the street. And I know that sounds simple, easier said than done. I also know people hate hearing that. Here's why it's so painful to hear. For one thing, it suggests that we don't have control over it. And in the adult, human's gonna human. When we're invested in changing someone else's behavior or perception of us, we are outsourcing our happiness. We're outsourcing our nervous system regulation. We're saying, I'll feel safe when you change. I'll relax when you finally get it. I will feel successful when you decide that I'm successful. I'll be okay if you just behave differently. And the problem isn't that this desire is wrong, it's that it's impossible. Everyone's walking around with their own brain, right? Their own history, their own experiences, seeing all of this through their lens, their own history, their own projections, their own beliefs, their own unfinished business, right? Their own nervous systems, their own schemas. You are not being experienced objectively. You never have been. Nobody is. And when you try to keep managing how you're seen, you stay locked in tension. The goalpost is never stable. And in Buddhism, they would say you're creating your own suffering. The Saturday after, I was walking on the beach in my neighborhood and I saw my neighbors had this sign on their fence, big sign, and it says, we cannot direct the winds. We can only adjust our sails. Perhaps you've heard that before. That's it. That's the whole thing. You can't control the weather of other people. You can't force the sea. You can't make the wind cooperate. But you can change how you orient yourself. You can decide and choose how you're going to experience it. But many of us were taught the opposite, right? We were taught if you just work harder, be better, say it differently, try again, be persistent, explain more clearly, more assertively, more nicely, ask more nicely, manage it more carefully, walk on eggshells, then you'll have that thing. As if peace is something that we earn by finally getting everything just right, just perfect, in fact. And we don't even clue in that this is perfectionist thinking, but it indeed is. Here's why getting your shit together never works. This is where I want to bring something in from my fave Buddhist nun, Pema Chodron. I love her. I love basically everything she says. And this wrecked me in the best way. She talks about the concept, please forgive me if I say this incorrectly. She talks about a concept called Yi Teng Che. Chi, which loosely translates to totally fed up, not dramatic fed up, not burnout fed up, but the moment where you finally give up hope that there's a version of you who will one day have it all handled, have all your shit together, all your ducks in a row. And she says something radical, that real peace doesn't come from fixing insecurity or fixing pain or fixing the other party. It comes from giving up hope that insecurity and pain can be eliminated. Let that land. It comes from giving up hope that insecurity and pain can be eliminated. This is the part most high-functioning, high-performing women resist because we love to control things. We think, once I get my life together, I'll relax. Once I increase my confidence, then I'll rest. Once I have the body, then I'll feel confident and then I can rest. Or then I'll be successful. Once I stop being messy or anxious or too emotional or reactive, then I'll be okay. Once all my coworkers like me, then I can sleep at night or I'll get a promotion or whatever. But the truth is actually the opposite. Relaxation and peace do not come after. They come when you stop waiting. Pima calls this moment the beginning of the beginning, not because you have failed and you have to start over, but because you stop pretending that there's a place to hide. You stop believing there's a version of you who will finally be immune to discomfort. Just sit with that for a sec. Even if you're like, I don't think that, I know there's discomfort. Or do you think there's an eventual version of you who will do something differently, has something you don't have that is immune to discomfort? And something wild happens when you stop trying to secure permanent ground. Your shoulders drop, your breath comes more easily, your urgency softens. If you heard last week's episode about my story, this is what happened to me when I started working on my nervous system. The things that I didn't even know were related to anxiety or my nervous system, my insomnia, my self protective behaviors, my constantly clenched jaw, which was like giving me headaches, they stopped. Not all at once, but eventually when I stopped trying to secure permanent ground, having it all figured out. Because those things happen because you're no longer trying to duct tape your life together with white knuckles. You stop fighting impermanence. I also love the idea of impermanence, which I also got from Pima Chodron. Impermanence. I will literally just say that word to myself when I'm resisting change. Impermanence. It's meant to be impermanent. You stop needing other people to be different or the same in order for you to be okay. That is not resignation. It's honesty. Mindfulness isn't control. So if you're coming to mindfulness or meditation as just another effort to control or become perfect, spoiler, mindfulness doesn't mean being calm all the time. It's not controlling. It is perhaps controlling the breath, controlling the mind. Yes, it is not controlling outside of you. It doesn't mean being calm all the time. It doesn't mean eliminating discomfort or suffering. It means being with your experience. This is, again, from Pima Chodron, When Things Fall Apart, being present when your hand touches the doorknob, when your phone rings, when irritation shows up, when grief shows up, when fear shows up. Not disassociating, not performing to sidestep it, not trying to manage it, just being right there. And when you're right here, just being right here. And when you're right here, you don't need the world to cooperate in order to feel grounded. Here's the reframe I want you to sit with. You don't relax and you won't relax because you finally got your shit together. You got the perfect planner. You relax when you realize there was never a moment where you were supposed to get your shit together. There is no final version of you. There's no arrival point. There's no stable ground that stays still forever. And once you stop chasing that illusion, suffering loosens its grip. Not because life gets easier or slows down or your kids go back to school, but because you stop arguing with reality. So if you're listening to this and thinking, if I could just fix myself, then I could finally breathe. Maybe then I'd start meditating. I want you to hear this really clearly. The breath comes when you stop trying to fix yourself, when you let go of the fallacy that there's a perfect version of you. You cannot direct the winds, but you can adjust your sails. And that is more than enough. Before you go, I just want to say this. If something in this episode landed in your body instead of just your head, that's not weird. That's recognition. Nothing here is meant to push you or feel like you need to be fixed. It's meant to help you understand yourself with more self-compassion and less blame. You don't need to do anything with this information right away. Just let it land, let your body catch up. But if something did resonate, I would love to hear about it. Please DM me on Instagram at AnnJonesFit. That is where I love to hang out, and I will read every message and reply. And when you're ready, I will be right here. Thank you for listening.